Greetings, groovy people! Welcome to the channel. This is the self-proclaimed Blue Dragon, and this week I want to show you how to make a crappy little GIF or a crappy little animation, or not so crappy animation if you're more skilled than I am. Specifically speaking to those of you who want to make one of those flashy little GIF ads that are uploadable to the top webcomics website, which are everywhere and bogged down the website, but still are catchy and have definitely caused me to check out some of the comics because they look pretty cool. But anyway, a couple weeks ago, or maybe it was last year, I had done this little GIF of the kanji, or the Chinese character for Yume. It's Yume in Japanese, it means dream. And then I also had created my own little crappy top webcomics advertisement. It's very trashy, it's very distasteful, and that's the way I like it. So I'm gonna walk y'all through how to do this in Photoshop CS5, but I'm sure it's applicable to, you know, the modern incarnation of Photoshop as well. So what you want to do is you have your document opened up. It's going to be a PSD file to start with. The canvas size I'm using is in pixel sizes 1280 by 720, and that's because I am making my end screen advertisement card. I'm updating that sharp dressed succubus to this instead. So you're going to want the images that you want to move on a layer. You can have a background layer if you like, which is what I have, or you can just have it transparent. That's totally up to you. But what you're going to want to do is you're going to be making frames for the movement. Now, you can do this in a different way that has the program fill it out, but I'm showing you how I made this. I'm not a professional, so I'm just showing you how I made the one that I created. I want them to kind of teeter back and forth, tilt away from each other, and then come back in. So I'm going to I duplicated the layer, the original layer, and now what I'm doing is just tilting it, just transforming it a little bit, tilting it, at least the one with the star with Rena from my free not safe for work webcomic. By the way, these videos are for adults. And then I'm gonna duplicate that layer. Ideally, you'll want to tilt both of them at the same time, but you'll see that I use opacity to see how far I duplicate, or how far I had tilted Kana. But each time, I'm just tilting the image a little bit more, and this is the Word of Wednesday trajectory on which the animation is going to move. Each time I am making a new layer, I am duplicating the previous one, and then I will be stepping it back after layer 5, which you'll see in a minute. Okay, so now I'm going to do the same thing on the previous layers with Kana, only I'm going to tilt her counterclockwise as opposed to clockwise. You're not going to see, like with the star, you can see the difference in spacing with Rin, but because I chose to put her in a circle like the old Patreon branding Kanas, you're not going to really notice as much unless you change the opacity so that you can see how much you are tilting the character. I probably should have done this as I was working on the other layer, but I can only think in terms of one thing at a time. Also, I have a lot of difficulty just outlining the image. I don't know what my deal is there. But I go to layer 2, and I just hit Control T to transform, and then I tilt her counterclockwise. And I will do that for each of the other layers that are in this document.
Counterclockwise.
Okay, I get it. God damn it. So you'll notice that I changed the opacity, I lowered it so that I could see how far the character had tilt. But I do change it back because I want it to be solid and not see-through when I'm finally ready to create my frames. So now I wanted to step things backwards. So I'm going to be duplicating the previous layers that I created, but I am going to be ordering them in reverse order. And you'll see why I'm doing that in a few minutes, but whereas I was counting up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, now the countdown of the duplicated layers is 3, 2, 1, blast off. No blast off. I do rename the layers later on just as I'm doing the frames, and that's just because I'm awful with numbers. There's something wrong with my brain. Head hurts. But to do the next step, you're going to go to Window and select Animation. You should get a pop-up, or it might already be attached somewhere in the canvas. You want it to not say timeline, so if it says timeline in parentheses after animation, go to those 3 little squares in the bottom right hand corner and select that so that you have animation parentheses frames. Next, you're going to duplicate selected frames. I'm clicking that button down there, and I do it about 9 times, I think is how many times I do it. Then you're going to select the frame that you want, and you're going to make all the other layers invisible. So I'm starting with layer 1. I want the background back there, so I'm leaving it in place. I move on to layer 2. I hide the visibility of layer 1, and I only have layer 2 visible. Then I move to layer 3, and I do the same thing, and I repeat the process as I go down the layers so that they tilt. Eventually they will tilt away from each other and then tilt back towards each other. And the smoothness of the motion is going to be dictated by how many frames you have actually created. And the more frames, obviously, the smoother the motion is going to be, but I do not have much time for that, nor do I care. I am a trashy artist. And so I just have this number of slides or frames. Now you can see that I'm renaming the frames, so because I started to get confused. So I have 7 to 8 frames down there. Frame 9, I don't think I was able to figure out how to delete it, but I leave it there, it doesn't matter. So the next thing that I want to do after I have created all of my frames, check all my slides first. And then after I'm done checking the slides, making sure that they look the way I want, I will play through. There's a little play, the triangle. You can also change the duration seconds if you like. It's the little drop down, like right now it's set to 0.07 seconds, but I actually like that, so I'm gonna go up to File, and I'm gonna go to Save for Web and Devices. I'm getting ready to export this because I like the way it looks, but you can change it if you want. I don't know much about the specifics, so I'm not touching anything, and I'm just gonna hit Save, and I'm gonna name my GIF. It's already set to GIF, but there's a drop down that you can select if it isn't already set to GIF. I'm replacing the old one. Now I'm also going to save a video version of this exact same file by going to Export, Render Video. I'm going to change the name of it again. I think I'm going to call it 2021 Patreon and Subscribe Star Advert. We'll just call it that. And then I'm going to render it. I want it to be a QuickTime movie. That's fine. You can change that if you want to also, but I will be able to use that, and that's fine. I'm going to be moving to iMovie and showing you what I do to utilize these images. Okay, so now we're going to move into our video processing program. I'm using iMovie, but I think you could use this in other programs too. I'm just going to show you how I do it. I grab my files wherever I've nested them, but I'm going to show you that you can use either the GIF or you can use the QuickTime save. The video is the first one that I'm going to put down. Let's just get that background out of the way. God, they're both selected. Okay, just select one of them. And now this is not very long, of course. So I'm just going to Control, or I guess it's Command C. And then I'm gonna, well, I guess I'm gonna pull it down, but you can select a couple of them at a time. And then Command C, and then Command V, or Control if you're using a PC. And then make it however long you like. I'm just gonna do a short video here for the purposes of this video. You'll see the finished product at the end, but if you're using iMovie, not sponsored, obviously, I don't get paid for shit, but you can go up to that little box and make it a picture-in-picture, and you can add it in the upper right-hand corner, or you can move it around wherever you want. You can put it wherever, it doesn't matter, it's up to you. If you had left your layers with no bottom background layer, if that was just all transparent, you wouldn't have the background like mine does. It would just be transparent, and you could lay it on top of things just like I did with the Gimme, which I'm gonna put right here so you can see it's right floating over and you can see everything that's behind it. I'm gonna demonstrate that. But you can use either the GIF. The GIF is great because you can, if it's a small enough size, you can upload it to different things, such as with the top webcomics. But anyway, yeah, that's how you make a little GIF or a little video. Question of the week: have you ever made an animation before? Or do you know of people who've made animations? And if so, what's your favorites? If you have a safe link, you can share it down below and I'll check it out. Safe link. Like a spammer's gonna post a link and be like, yeah, this is safe, yeah. Looking like the wolf in Little Hot Riding Hood or whatever the fuck it is. You know what I mean? If you're a real person and you've got like a comic or, you know, a website or some like Imgur or something like that, you can leave it down below. I'll check it out. It's probably going to be way nicer than anything that I could throw together, so it'd be kind of cool to see. Yeah, that was my question of the week. If you like what I do, hey, here's the card. Support Blue Dragon art. Patreon, Subscribestar, I've got Ko-fi accounts, I got other shit. Or you can also like, sub, do the bell thing. You can share the video with people if you really want to. That's cool. Spread the word. I don't think most people will. I'm boring as shit, but anyway. If you want to bore your friends, do that. Otherwise, thank you so much for watching. Peace and love. Fare you well, and keep on trucking.